Today, we're going to do a roundup of how exactly Tesla vehicle deliveries are doing around the world. There are 109 Chinese brands, and we'll show you who is playing in each of the segments from luxury, high-tech, premium, down to entry and old tech segments. Tesla deliveries is expected to blow past expectations, with some now thinking Q3 will see maybe even over 500,000 cars delivered. Wolfe Research's new report is estimating 465 to 470,000 vehicles, well above the 445,000 consensus. Last week in China, Tesla insurance registrations were 17.3 thousand vehicles. Year to date is now just negative 5.95% year over year. But the Model Y L is still not yet a significant factor. Let's wait a few more weeks to see how much of a jump we'll see here. In Europe, Tesla sales last week had their best week of the quarter, and year to date is now negative 20% year over year. This is just a sample of countries and not the whole. Finally, Tesla is offering a crazy choice for Canadian Model 3 buyers. We got Brian White here with us today. He's one of our best Tesla retail analysts. Check out his YouTube channel, FutureAza. He's one of the few that regularly travels the world, gets exclusive factory tours and interviews. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, I think it's crazy that just because I travel the world, you're asking me about China stuff. Yeah,
Wow.
I might
You
have
were just
some
there.
idea. I might
You
have
were
some
just
idea
there.
what's going on.
Yeah, you were just there
Yeah.
2 months ago, 2 or 3 months ago. And wait till you see this table. I love this table. Or a graphic, I guess what it is. Alex Voigt shared this. The leading car manufacturers of the future will be Tesla and many Chinese companies, while legacy car manufacturers will become niche players or taken over. Mark my words. So this chart shows you 109 Chinese car brands and where they're positioned. So I like, we finally get to see this. Because it's whenever you see somebody say, oh, BYD is killing Tesla, but they're not playing in the same segment. They're mostly in, the low entries, the mainstreams, and so forth, where Tesla's here. Now, I don't see Tesla in this list because I guess they call them Chinese car brands. But first of all, there's 109 of them. Okay. And many will die, but many will succeed. But here you can see that in the luxury, Max Mixtro, Yang Wang, I don't even know who that one at the top is. And then you got high tech. You got Xiaomi, who makes, I think I've heard that they're second largest handset, mobile phone manufacturer at this point, but now they're making cars, electric vehicles. NIO, Xiaomi, Li Auto, Avatar, Jidu, Ito, Luxeed. I don't know these guys, but these ones are the ones we know. Their position is high tech. You got the premium, Salato, these guys. And then you got the semi-premium. You got Zeekr. Oh, I guess that's where we would fill. I thought we were competing at them. Xiaopeng, Zeekr falls under the semi-premium. Then you have the mainstream. That's where BYD plays. And then other brands. Then you got super mainstream. And then mainstream, that's where you got the state-owned ones like GAC, right? SAIC, those guys fall into here.
Yes.
And then you got the entries. These are probably like $5,000, $10,000.
Yes.
And then these are down here, old tech, low cost. Yeah.
So leave that up for a second here. At the top, Yang Wang, that's the jumping car that you may have seen. They've also got one that kind of looks like a Land Rover Defender kind of vehicle. And they are premium. They are real nice. In high tech, I'm not sure why Huawei's not on there. I don't see it anywhere on this chart. Kind of weird. And as you move down, when you get to mainstream, that's like mainstream and super mainstream is where you're going to find all your taxis. Those are all the cars that end up being taxis. And yes, entry is where you find the $5,000 to $10,000 cars because that is a big market. And yeah, Great Wall and Wuling, those are classics. When you see them at a car show, you have to look because they're so small and so cheap. It's just kind of ridiculous. And yeah, I would say that Tesla's going to be slotting in at semi-premium. I agree with you on that. If you go much higher than that, the market gets small real quick. And for semi-premium, you can pull a lot of buyers up from the upper mainstream market. And really, if you're talking about a rear-wheel drive with that doesn't have the subwoofer, you're getting down into the super mainstream kind of competition. It's still a bit more expensive, but like Lynk & Co., that's in super premium there. They make a really nice car. It's just down a little bit in the next tier off to the right. It doesn't
Oh,
matter.
silver premium. Sorry.
No, super mainstream.
Oh,
Lincoln
super
Co. all
mainstream.
the way to the right there. Yeah, doesn't really matter. It's a good car. Yeah, so there's some good stuff in there,
Yeah.
but it is a
So
lot of competition.
yeah, so very familiar brands here, like Leap Motor, and then you got your Cherry, BYD, of course. You got your Chang'an, you got Cherry, you got GAC, Geely. These are the ones we keep hearing about. Brian, so yeah, why is Huawei not here? That is very odd. Unless that's what it is up here. I can't read this one up the top, but I doubt it.
I don't think that's
That's
that.
not it.
Um,
It is
I
odd
don't
it's
know.
not there.
I don't know
Yeah.
why it didn't make the list. Xiaomi and Huawei both chose to use other manufacturers to make their cars. We're going to design it, we're going to engineer it, and then we're going to hand it over to someone who actually knows how to build it. So imagine if Apple just handed their design to GM or Tesla and said, "Hey, build this." And then the manufacturer looks at it and says, "Okay, we're going to make a couple changes because it's clear you've never built a car before. Here's what's going to change." They go, "Great, now build it." And they build it. So that's how companies are able to go from nothing to full production over the course of a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just the brands. Okay. So, Brian, these 109 Chinese car brands, who's going to win? Who's going to lose?
Well, the answer is actually pretty easy. If you go look at volume, that's most of your answer. All of the state-owned ones are going to survive. BAIC, SAIC, those are going to survive because, and when we say state-owned, we don't mean federally owned. We mean owned by literally the state of. Like the local government is the one who owns it, not the federal government. They're going to survive because um, they can't fail. And the companies that manufacture through them are going to do well because they've got good cost controls and all that. Who is, if you want to know who is going to fail, you just need to look at sales figures, and that'll
Yeah.
get you a pretty good idea. Although I would say NIO has real financial problems, but their fan base is very, very rabid and likely would just keep coming up with money to throw at it for as long as possible.
Yeah, it's an impossible question to answer. Okay, thank you for doing that. That's the Chinese brands. So back to Tesla. This is, the betting site. Kalashi is saying that they're thinking 504,000 vehicles. I think that's way too high.
I agree.
That's not going to happen. But Wolfe Research, they are saying 465 to 470,000 vehicles, and their consensus 445 because, of course, the U.S. tax credit and solid China demand. This is what they're expecting at this point. They do think that Q4 is going to be soft. It will be offset. New model, stronger China, Europe, energy growth, and autonomy. But they think that they're talking earnings there at that point. But Wolfe Research says this. What's you're thinking about their report?
I think 465 to 470 is about where I'm coming in. I think 504 is too high. I think that's much too big of a jump from last quarter. We are seeing strength in Shanghai, but this is coming off of weaker numbers earlier in the year from the downtime they had for retooling. So we're not seeing Shanghai posting record numbers. They're posting very strong numbers, very good numbers. You pointed out at the top of the show, 17,300 units last week. That puts them on pace for 860,000 per year, if that was their annualized rate. Their capacity is closer to 1 million. So they've still got some room to grow on that. And I assume we'll talk about the YL momentarily. But if you look at Berlin, they've added a shift, and it's not because Europe's demand is surging so much as they have a large new export market in Canada for the Model Y. And since the US is not exporting the Y to Canada, that means that all these extra shifts we've seen added in Austin are just filling US demand. They are making these cars as fast as they can to try and get buyers the last seconds of credit. If you want to get a car, you can pick it up by the end of the month. Maybe not in your market. You might have to take a long drive to get one, but there are markets in the US that have inventory available as of a couple days ago when I looked, and I imagine it's being replenished. You might, in the closing days of the month, you might have to get real close to one of the factories to pick one up.
But you don't
And
have to.
you don't have to. There's
You don't
guidance
have to
that
be
says,
delivered. You just need to order it before September 30th, except for leases. Yeah.
I'm just worried about inconsistency in guidance from the government, from the IRS. That would make me fearful. If it was me, I would jump through hoops to get it before the month ends because
You want it. Yeah.
and
You don't want
that
them to change
7,500
it.
is consequential.
Okay. Good. Let's go around the world, Brian. Let's go
Okay.
around the world. Here's what's happening in China. China at 17.3 thousand Tesla insurance were reported last week, September 15 to 21. This is the third highest week of the year. Year to date. So now we're at negative 5.9%. Remember we did this, I think last week,
Right.
we were closer to 7%. Highest week of the quarter. So here we are. Actually, I like this one here. The blue is 2025. And remember when we kept looking at it week by week, there's that gap between 2025 and the red 2024 or the yellow 2023. And of course, the reason is because Tesla had to shut down factories, especially the China one, to go to the new, more affordable vehicle. But here we are. We're getting closer and closer. I think it feels like we're getting closer.
Yes. And what we'd said last week was, is the number diverging? It's too soon to say. Come back in a week. We're back in a week. The number is getting closer rather than farther away. That's the direction we want to see. This is strengthened by Shanghai has more export markets than they did a year ago. The domestic demand has remained stronger than I would say any analyst predicted because the competition is here, guys. It's here. You saw 109 other vehicles from 109 other automakers. How are they doing so well? Reputation, prestige, technology, reliability. This number, I would expect to see it continue to close in on what we saw last year. And will it beat 2024? I don't know. They had, they had the retooling to contend with. So maybe not, but it is entirely possible that Shanghai posts a record year.
I do think so. I don't think they're going to beat last year, but I think they're going to get very close. Probably so right in the middle. We'll see. We'll see. Well, the reason is because you need to find out what's going on with the Model Y L. So right now, this is like the third week, and so far it's been around 900 units per week. Only 850 units sold this week. You see the red here, that's the Model Y L. It's about the same each week. And when I asked, let's say Jeff Lutz about it, he says, well, no, it's because once you've launched a vehicle, it still takes time to actually deliver these vehicles. And we're expecting it to start showing up in larger numbers the following weeks. Or is that true, Brian?
Yes.
Or do you think
Jeff
that
is correct.
maybe, are you
Nope,
sure? I mean,
100% sure.
We heard all this. Oh my God, Model YL, everybody loves it. Social media, everything. And we're watching these, but then we're not seeing it show up week by week. Is it too early?
It is too early. I saw a very funny, I don't know what's going on with X's algorithm. They've been showing me just the worst stuff lately, including a bunch of people who despise Tesla. And one of the ones said, well, it's official, YL is a flop. And because they haven't increased week over week sales in the 3 weeks it's existed. And I said, correct, because as we all know, correlation always suggests causation. It equals it. Any idiot can tell you that, as this particular idiot had. I said, or hear me out. Just like with the Juniper and Highland ramps, you can't sell cars you haven't built. They have to build them. So there is a lag while you wait for the supply chain to catch up with some of these new parts. Yes, it has a lot of parts in common, but it has a lot of new parts, and you have to have all the parts to make the car. You have to actually ship them out to the people. Yes, so I'm with Jeff on this. If the car is somehow not as popular as anticipated, week 3 is not when you would find out.
Okay. What week will we find out?
I mean, it might not be this quarter. The quarter's almost over. But certainly by, I'd say, mid-November, we'll know, we'll get a better picture.
Okay, mid-November. Call Brian.
Go ahead and let me jot that down.
Call Brian. All right. Thank you for that. Appreciate your knowledge there. Yeah, and at Tesla's chief vice president of in China, Tao Lin, Grace Tao, she just posted this again. I mean, this is just yeah, just watching these armrests go up and down. Not only did we design independent seats, but we also have electric armrests that can be lifted gently when needed, making it convenient for three rows of passengers when folded. I don't
Yes.
know, why did she care so much about that? It's such a big deal for her.
Well, yesterday I was taking my son to the eye doctor, and I had to talk shop. I gotta keep it fresh in my head. And I said, "Do you know the Model YL, the larger one? Do you know which one that is?" And he paused and he said, "Is it the one with the cool armrests?" So that's the answer. Is because for the people who
Sure.
use the second and third row, that
Yeah.
is an important feature. Not having to flip them up every time you go past, like in old vans. And when you flip it up, all that does is make it harder to get through the narrow gap. So these are a better way to get to the third row. And it's so simple. It's such a simple fix. Why have we never seen it before? It's one of those inventions you see that you go, 100 years we've been doing this. No one's thought of this.
Okay.
Uh, yeah.
We'll
So
see. I'll be excited about it if it shows up in these robo vans or these, other, for reasons for robo taxi. But otherwise, okay, it's a minor
put it in
feature
the
for me.
X.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to Europe now. Here's Europe. Now, Roland keeps track of these countries, but again, he reminds you he only is able to get it from certain countries, not every country, including Germany, because they don't share their numbers for till later. So it's just a subset. I think he's at 60% of sales. So keep that in mind. It is 25% week over week, better, the best week of the quarter, but year-to-date sales are 20% under from year to date. So here we are from this subset of European countries. 2025 is red, and then green is 2023 and yellow. So we're really far off from where we were last year. But again, it's not just because of the shutdown of the factory for the new Model Y. There's been something happening in Europe, and there you go, it's still showing up. But nice little rise here, but not really significant.
So there's three things to bear in mind on these numbers. One is, yes, the shutdown absolutely happened. The vehicles are being shipped out of the continent. The ones that go to Canada don't count in those numbers, even though they were made in Berlin. And then you do have some degree of brand damage in some countries more than others. In some countries, none at all. I've had people say, yeah, but it's not significant. Why bring it up? Because I can't ignore things. I'm not supposed to. I'm supposed to tell you the unvarnished truth. And the reality is a lot of the European manufacturers are starting to make good cars. People who like Volkswagen now have Volkswagen options that are electric, that are not bad, that are not half-baked jokes like we saw with some of the early compliance cars, Mercedes, BMW, Audi, Porsche. Now, a lot of those brands are trying to dial back some of their EV ambitions, but for today, they have cars, and some people like those cars. And even with the higher cost of electricity in Europe, it's still vastly cheaper in most cases, especially if you have home charging, than buying petrol at the pump, which is, double what it is in the US.
Okay. Yeah. That's a perfect overall answer. I appreciate that. And then here's what's happening in Canada. So I don't know what this is. Do you know this? So there's a crazy choice. I don't know. Great title, Teslarati. Crazy choice for Canadian Model 3 buyers. Okay.
Yes.
So
I had a chance to talk about this yesterday with my guy in Canada, Mark from the Tesla Life. You get a choice. Do you want $5,000 off the sticker or lifetime free supercharging? And boy, I tell you, that's a tough choice. Unfortunately,
I
the
go 5,000.
MSRP for a Tesla in Canada right now for a Model 3 is 67,000 Canadian. Yeah, there you go, 65,000 Canadian. And if the rear wheel is 50,000, that's not as bad because again, Canadian, not USD. So take $5,000 off that. That's pretty attractive. Are you going to road trip? $5,000 is a lot to try and spend at the supercharger. But if you're doing a lot of driving, doing a lot of road tripping, maybe that makes sense. Canada now has a massive tariff on the Model 3. because it's made in the US.
Yeah.
You can't get around that by importing them from China. They also have a massive tariff on Chinese-made autos. Tesla Canada did import a bunch to put in inventory before the tariff took effect. And now they're trying to move all of the units past and present. So this will help with that a little bit. And yeah, hopefully it is what people are looking for.
I found this to be quite helpful. All the different deals that Tesla's been doing, different kinds. So now, right now, they're doing the limited free supercharging or $5,000 discount on Model 3 in Canada. Then they had offered previously in this quarter 1 year free supercharging on inventory, Cybertrucks, Model S, and all that in the US. 18 months free supercharging on Model 3s in the US. Lifetime free supercharging with Lux package on Model S and Model X. 2,000 off, right? So they've got a lot of levers to pull. Yeah.
In July, they had free red, white, or blue paint for the first half of the month.
Yeah. Lots of levers to pull, but I think the supercharging obviously appears many, many times. It is a great lever to pull. It's like as if a car company comes up and he goes, we'll give you free gas. You know how many times like people line up to Costco because they go, oh, it's like we're 1 cent cheaper than everyone else. And then all of a sudden the lineup is so massive. And then sometimes you go and use this card and you'll get 3% off your gas. And people use that card because it's a big deal because it's gas. It's something you use weekly, bi-weekly. You go to the gas station here. You know, now supercharging is not something you do weekly or bi-weekly. It's only when you travel, but still somebody says.
And free supercharging on a Model 3 is pretty unheard of. It's very rare because if 3s and Ys got free supercharging, you'd need to build a lot more superchargers. It would swamp capacity. Where with S, X, and Cybertruck, those are a lot lower
niche
volume vehicles. So you're not going to see them consuming quite as much. I was at Fred Meyer the other day at Kroger, and I was buying something, and they said, "Oh, did you want to use your phone number?" And I said, "And none of these are on sale. Do I get something?" She goes, "Yeah, you get a discount on gas." And I said, "Who buys gas?"
So you don't care anymore. Oh, that's funny. I think that these deals that they're doing like this, specifically the free supercharger one, it's a sign of things to come, right? It shows you that they're playing around with these ideas of a subscription. You just pay one monthly fee and it bundled in superchargers, right? Bundled in, you know, your premium activity, your access to the internet, those kind of things. Maybe bundled in insurance, maybe bundled in FSD, right? It's going to all be packaged together, I think, where they're headed towards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wall Street loves recurring revenue. If you've got a product and you're bringing in $12 million a year in sales, it is not the same as if you're bringing in $12 million a year in subscriptions. Wall Street prefers that. It's easier money somehow. So yes, anything they can do to get us onto a subscription model. Not a fan of subscription model myself, but I understand it. And for a lot of things, it makes sense. $8,000 to buy FSD versus $99 a month. That's an easy choice for me. I'll do the 99. Not convinced I'm going to have a car, any car for 80 months. So yeah, makes sense.
Thank you so much, Brian. You are awesome. Love it. You're always providing great info. Best Tesla retail analyst out there. Check out his YouTube channel, FutureAza. Thanks, everybody. I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.